Welcome to Whatever Happened to Pizza at McDonald's, the investigative journalism program where I ask the question, whatever happened to the pizza at McDonald's? I'm your host, Brian Thompson. Before we begin, I would like to provide an update on my pledge to initiate a near-death experience by drowning myself in the LA River. Due to falling somewhat short of my goal for new Patreon patrons, I intend to press my face into the river's 1 to 3 inches of sewer water until my brain activity stops, at which point a medical professional will immediately revive me. While this event will only transpire over a few seconds in actual time, I believe I will experience a subjectively much longer experience as my soul leaves my body and I enter the city of heaven, where I will ask the God why I do not have more Patreon patrons. After several interviews with applicants I met through the Craigslist and Fiverr.com hiring services, I have found the perfect medical professional for the job. According to his CV, he has been present for the deaths of over 12 dozen patients, so I am confident he has the experience necessary. Best of all, his hourly fee is almost suspiciously reasonable. I plan to follow through on this plan in the coming week and will keep you updated. In the meantime, I have become somewhat concerned about a development in the realm of science experimentation.
Nuclear scientists call it the holy grail of clean energy they've been chasing for decades. The Department of Energy is expected to announce tomorrow that researchers at the Lawrence Livermore National Lab in California have used lasers to produce a nuclear fusion reaction that creates energy. A huge breakthrough in producing an endless supply of clean, cheap power without radioactive waste or fossil fuel emissions.
To be perfectly metaphorically clear, I am very pleased with the energy-producing potential of fusion technology. Many scientists believe if humanity does not transition to a clean and efficient energy source very soon, the planet Earth could become uninhabitable within the next few hundred years. And some journalists, such as myself, believe it may take a similar amount of time for humans to discover the truth about why McDonald's stopped serving pizza. For some time now, I have adhered to a strict anti-aging routine so that I might live long enough to uncover said truth. Among other things, this routine includes drinking sunscreen and running my air conditioning so long and so intensely that I am in a constant state of near cryogenic freezing. But if there is no Earth around when the time comes for the truth to be revealed, all of this will be a moot point. So I applaud the scientists at the Lawrence Livermore Laboratory for their progress in this important field of energy research. However, I am, as I said, somewhat concerned about how geographically close to me these experiments are being conducted. According to reports, the amount of energy generated by this latest fusion activity is only enough to boil several tea kettles. But the fact remains that fusion is the very method by which our sun, a star we call the sun, produces all of its heat and light. If, God ben David forbid, there were some kind of accident, such as perhaps the sort of laboratory accident that probably, maybe, caused a deadly virus to leak from a facility in Wuhan, China, killing both millions of people and also millions of dollars in box office potential for Christopher Nolan's Tenet, then I fear the consequences may affect me in a rather negative manner. In relative terms, the Lawrence Livermore Laboratory is quite far away from my home in the Sherman Oaks neighborhood of Los Angeles, but it is still within the state of California. If a fusion reaction could generate enough energy to light up an entire sun, like the sun, then a similar reaction that somehow expands out of control would certainly be enough to engulf my state in a flaming ball of fire. The good news in this scenario would be that real estate prices would likely become far more reasonable. But the bad news would be that I and my important research into the McDonald's pizza matter would be rendered nothing but a pile of useless ash, no matter how low I set my thermostat. In the midst of lying in bed worrying about such an accident, I remembered a comforting rememory. The United States and Canadian governments maintain a command center specifically designed to withstand any sort of onslaught. It is called NORAD, which is an acronym that stands for something. And it houses equipment and personnel key to maintaining air sovereignty in the event of a military attack or other disaster. During the holidays, they also use their satellite tracking technology to provide the exact location of Santa Claus as he pilots his sleigh full of toys from one Christian household to another. This kind of real-time tracking is tantamount to illegal doxing, and the employees of NORAD should be held legally accountable in the event Santa Claus is assassinated. But be that as it may, NORAD provides an excellent model for how to construct a structure that can withstand potentially even the very destructive force of a nuclear fusion explosion. The facility is housed deep within a mountain and is accessible only through a tunnel. While I do not live within walking distance of such a mountain, I do live quite near a Los Angeles park called Griffith Park, which contains a fair number of rather tall hills. Being a park, there are several out-of-the-way areas where I might tunnel into the ground and hollow out a safe space for a protective bunker in which I could store my valuable research and also my valuable person in the event of a major fusion incident. One problem: I will need to sort out the paperwork.
Welcome to the City of Los Angeles' MyLA 311 Contact Center. If this is a life-threatening emergency, please hang up and call 911.
Thank you for calling 311. How may I assist you?
Hello, my name is Brian Thompson. I'm calling because I'm planning on digging a bunker into one of the hills in Griffith Park, and I was wondering who I needed to talk to about obtaining the necessary permits.
Okay, say that one more time.
I'm planning on digging a hole into one of the hills in Griffith Park and constructing an underground bunker, and I was wondering who I needed to speak with to obtain the necessary permits.
Okay, right, so let's try to see here. Inside of the actual park, correct?
Correct. I would dig a small hole in some sort of out-of-the-way area, and that would be the entrance to the bunker. And of course, the bunker would be quite a large structure, but completely underground, not interfering with the public in any way.
Let me just try to see. Because since it would be on park land, I mean, you would need to get park permission to even do that.
Okay.
Before even trying to get building permits.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
Yeah, I do have a phone number for Griffith Park information to see if they can try to get you in contact with who you may need to contact in order to try to, obtain that approval to begin with.
Okay.
The phone number is going to be 213 485 5501.
8. Oh, no. I apologize. I used to write down phone numbers with a pencil or a pen, but I had quite a bit of trouble doing that, so I'm trying to switch to an electronic method of writing down numbers with a keyboard, but the keyboard that I purchased apparently had some sort of a soda spill on it, and the keys are a bit sticky, and it just keeps typing 8. Could you please give me that number one more time?
The number is 213
Okay.
485
5.
5501.
Okay. So 213-488-8888-8888-555501.
I mean, without all the 8s, yes.
Oh, okay. That must have been the sticky key. Okay. So just one of those 8s.
Right, just 1 8 there.
Okay. I will write that down. Just one of the 8s. Okay, great. This works a lot better than the pen and paper.
All right. Well, then, thank you for calling and have a good rest of your day, okay?
Thank you. You too.
All right. Goodbye.
Goodbye. Before I dialed the Griffith Park Rangers to ask if I might be allowed to dig an underground bunker inside one of their park's hills, I reconsidered my plan somewhat. I did not think it would be easy to obtain a bunker building permit from the city, but I suspected convincing the park rangers to go along with my plan would be quite difficult indeed. When city officials are reluctant to grant a request, one can always expedite the process through simple bribery or perhaps blackmailing them with a recording of one of their horrible conversations. But park rangers are a nobler breed. Perhaps it has something to do with their reclusive, woodland nature, but I find them to be a rather distrustful peoples. I once had a very contentious conversation with a ranger who took issue with my leaving a used pizza box under a bush after finishing my picnic. I argued correctly that the grease-soaked cardboard would quickly provide a nutritious food source for local wildlife, such as coyotes, deer, or perhaps a member of Griffith Park's rather sizable population of feral poodles. But the ranger in question insisted that my donating the pizza box to the local food chain constituted the crime of littering. Thankfully, it was rather a moot point, as park rangers have no arrest powers, which was another topic of vigorous debate when the ranger in question proceeded to arrest me. The point is, sometimes it is preferable to ask forgiveness rather than permission. So I decided to go ahead with my bunker building program without acquiring all of the legal permits. I would just do so on the metaphorical down low. But a call to the Park Service might still help me plan a course of action that would minimize the amount of forgiveness I might possibly need.
LA City Park Rangers.
Oh, hello. My name is Brian Thompson. I was calling with a question about how Griffith Park is patrolled.
Okay, it sounds like you need to speak to one of the senior lead rangers regarding this question. Hold on just one moment, Brian.
Okay, thank you.
Park Ranger.
Hello, my name is Brian Thompson. I believe I was transferred to you. I had a question about how Griffith Park is patrolled by park rangers.
Okay, what did you want to know about it?
Well, I was just wondering how often park rangers patrol the park looking for holes in the ground and on what routes they might do so.
The park rangers basically, they're patrolling various areas of the park.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm not quite sure what you're asking for. If there's like a routine?
Yes.
If they see anything, they report it in.
Anything includes human-sized holes in the ground?
Anything that looks like it could be a hazard. They put job orders in for things.
Okay, so as long as it doesn't appear to be a hazard, it wouldn't raise any concern?
No.
Okay, perfect. Well, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Goodbye.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Excellent news. I shall simply disguise the entrance to my bunker as something harmless and common to the park, such as a pile of used syringes. And now, a word from our sponsor. DraftKings.com is the world's biggest online sportsbook and relationship ender. No other website lets you easily bet on your favorite sports games, despite the pleas of those who care about you. DraftKings.com may not be legal to use in your state, but there are plenty of places where it's perfectly fine. Like with all gambling, placing bets on DraftKings.com is risky. But as long as you're betting on a lock, there's almost hardly nothing to worry about. DraftKings.com. It's only money. Do you know what happened to pizza at McDonald's? Do you remember it? Please send all correspondence to pizza@mcdonalds@gmail.com. To support the show, please join my Patreon at patreon.com/pizza@mcd's for exclusive benefits. And for more information, including important announcements, useful links, educational blog posts, etc., visit pizza@mcdonalds.com. Thank you to my invaluable Patreon producers: Isabella Zelaskowski, Jacob Ford, Joe Kajik, Kimberly King, Kyle Turok, Pam Gabriel, Will, Andrew Duffy, Andrew Ahmed Johnson Rubin, Billy Jean, Brad Allen Thompson, David Friedman, Felix Dooley, Jay Poop, Calvin Thomas, Kat Resney, Laurel Paul, Mel, Mitchell Kordick, Opus Mareshi, Grant Bacon, Gerald Lewis, and Ryan Guggenmoss. I'm Brian Thompson, investigative journalist.